Hello again, Des here from GMIT Letterfrack with another of our SolidWorks tutorials. Now just before we start, if you'd like more information about the degree programs we offer in furniture design, wood technology or teacher education, then please see our Facebook or Twitter pages. So this is what we're going to cover in this short tutorial. It's the base of a blender, and what makes this unique is that it's got a core, which you can see in this shiny green color here, but it's also got two layers wrapped around it. So we need to make three different solids, all of which wrap perfectly around the one inside it. What makes this difficult is it's not a regular solid, it's got this complicated curved shape. So to do that, we're going to use a lofted boss base feature to generate the shape itself, but a series of surface modeling features to generate these offset shells or these grips. So this is the actual blender itself. In this tutorial, I'm just going to focus on the base, and I don't actually have the blender itself. I'm not going to draw the base. I won't have any proper dimensions, but it's just the concept, the procedure I recommend for actually getting each of these three different colored solids that wrap perfectly around each other. So let's begin. So moving over to SolidWorks, what we'll do to begin with is start a sketch of a square on the top plane. Now I don't actually have the blender, I'm more concerned with the process involved rather than the actual dimensions. So I'm just going to make up my dimensions. In my case, I'm going to assume the base is based on a square of side 120 with corners filleted with a 40mm radius fillet. So there's the base sketch. I will now go to Features. Let's close that sketch first of all. Go to Features, Reference Geometry and Plane, and use the top plane as a reference. I'm going to offset a plane 160mm from that bottom plane. And onto that plane I will start a new sketch just with a circle, centered at the origin, diameter 90. So for neatness, I'm going to right click this plane and hide it. And in another video on our channel, you can see how I added guide curves to be able to perfectly manipulate the transition of the loft feature I'm about to apply from this top profile to the bottom profile. But to save time in this video, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go to Features, Lofted Boss Base, and loft the top circle to the bottom profile. Now I will make a small edit. Rather than allowing it to transition straight from the top to the bottom profile, I will change the start and end constraints. So the start constraint, I want to change that to normal to profile. And you can make some edits here if you wish. You can change the angle, I'm happy with that. And the end constraint, normal to profile as well. It just adds a little bit more character to the curve. So that is going to represent the inner portion, this darker green portion. I obviously haven't put the fillet on the top yet, but it's the inner core of the blender. What I want to do now is add the outer two cores, this lighter green color and the white color. And as you can see, they're perfectly molded around this inner core, but they have a bit more depth. So to do that, I'm going to use surface modeling. If you do not see the surfaces tab up here, then right click any of the other tabs and make sure you tick surfaces. So select the surfaces tab, and this face that's highlighted is it's a face, it's not a surface as far as SolidWorks is concerned. So to change that into a usable surface, simply go to Knit Surface and then click that face. Press the green tick to apply, and there you have it. You can't actually see anything at the moment because the surface has zero thickness and it's laid perfectly over this face. However, if I notice in the feature manager, now I have a new folder called Surface Bodies. Let's expand the Solid Bodies folder and right click and hide that solid. And now all we're left with is the surface. That is a skin of zero thickness that fits perfectly over our solid. So what we'll do is we'll start a sketch on the front plane. We'll look 90 degrees to that. And to save time, I'm just going to make up the measurements. I don't actually have the measurements. I'll just approximate them as best as I can. So I'll use a center line down the middle to save me time in a moment. and I'm just going to draw what I assume is the approximate shape of the little notch. Now, as I said, I don't exactly have the measurements here. I'm just going to make it look reasonably like the shape we had earlier. But I have used a spline. But to get this nice smooth transition, what I'll do is I'll hold Control, select the spline, and select this line, and make them tangential. I'll also trim out this little piece of the curve there. And just for good measure, I will mirror it, the spline, that line, and that arc, about that center line. So there we have it. We've got a sketch in the center of our surface. Close that sketch. And what we'll do now is extrude that sketch, not as a solid, but as a surface. So make sure the Surfaces tab is selected and call up the Extruded Surface command. And let's make sure it goes, rather than blind, mid-plane. And just extrude it so that it intersects, I should say, the surface we have. So two surfaces, one cutting the other. Now what we will do is use this surface as a trimming tool. So call up the Trim Surface command. The trim tool will be that surface. And if I select Keep Selections, the selection I want to keep is this portion. Press the green tick, and there we have it. Now what I'll do is I'll hide that component. And what I'm left with is a surface that has zero thickness still, but it fits perfectly over this solid body which I'm about to make visible in a moment. Before I do that, let's give this some thickness. So to give it some thickness, we use the thicken command. Let's say it's going to be 3 mil thick. Simply select the surface, and you can see it adds 3 mil thickness outside. You can also add 3 mil thickness inside or 3 mil both sides. In my case, I just want it outside. Press the green tick, and there you have it. Now if I go back into my solid bodies folder and turn on the visibility of my original solid, what I have is a skin and that fits perfectly over that inside solid. And just to speed us up a little, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide that again. I'm going to start another sketch on the front plane again. And we're going to try and get the other solid as well. So what I've done is I've just skipped on a little. I've drawn that other profile. I will now mirror it. And I'll also extrude that as a surface, a mid-plane surface. And now, because I turned that previous surface into a solid, this blue face that I've highlighted needs to be converted into a surface again if I want to use it. So simply go to Knit Surface, select that surface, press the green tick, and now let's hide that solid for a moment. Sorry, the wrong one. And what I'm left with are two surfaces again. So let's repeat our trim surface. This will be our trim tool. This will be the surface I want to keep. And let's now hide the surface. And again, I've got another shell, another surface that's the perfect fit of the previous component. So let's thicken this time to just 1 millimeter, and press the green tick. Now it's important that you do not tick merge result, or it'll stitch or weld all of those solids together. So finally, if I just turn on all of my solids, now you see what I have. I've got 3 different independent solids, all perfectly syncing and fitting together without any interference whatsoever. So it's just a matter of then, if you wished, applying the material appearance. So for instance, I can put white onto that body, I can put a green onto that body, and I'll also put a different color green onto this body. And to edit that body, I will simply click it and edit the appearance and select a lighter shade of green. That one will be fine. So thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you want more SolidWorks tutorials, then please see our GMIT Letterfrack YouTube channel.